Welcome to Ash Mór. I think it's the second biggest field on the holding, and I'm standing facing towards the actual buildings just inside the field, and that beautiful thing there, I can get it to zoom, it's not going to zoom, okay, that's the fallen goddess tree. And as I pan round, this is Ash Mór. And last year, or rather I think the year before last, I planted around 200 trees in here. And over the winter, you're now looking down in the opposite direction towards Ash Beg, and I don't know if you can make out the fence, but that's the edge of our land down there. And yes, last winter the deer came in and ate them, trampled them, stamped on them, rubbed their antlers on them, and generally damaged quite a few of the trees. This little area here we laughingly called the alien landing site because it's quite circular. It's actually caused by a cattle feeder being placed in it, which is a circular metal thing in which hay is put and cattle feed, and then the cows obviously all go around it. And the area where the feeder has been and where the cattle have trampled, the rushes are crushed down. And because the rushes are crushed down, the grass has a chance to grow. And because this area was lush and grassy, the deer have come and grazed the grass. And thus it has stayed open, a little open patch. There are a few. If I pan back round, there's another area over here where they've actually made quite a large area rush-free. And that's where I planted last year, and that's where they've done the most damage. But this little site here, that we've nicknamed the alien landing site because it's circular and it looks like they had a spaceship here, because we're just daft like that. This area is where I'm going to be planting more bare root trees today, because if I can put them in a fairly dense patch and put a bit of low fencing around them, just for a year or two till they get really established, we should keep the deer off them. Ash Mór, this field, the bigger of the two, was so named because we were mainly going to plant ash trees here. Because as my children will tell you, a little sing-song ditty that I used to go through when they were little is that you can coppice hazel after 4 years, willow after 6, and ash after 10. So if you plant 12 willow trees, after 4 years you can cut 3 of them down and you've got fuel. And after 6 years you can cut probably 1/6 of your willow down, and after 10 years 10% of your ash, and then after that every year that same percentage of those trees. Willow and hazel are great fuel trees, but they need to be seasoned. Ash you can burn green straight away as soon as it's cut, fresh. That's what green means. But here I'm actually going to be planting mostly alder, or alder as it's pronounced locally, and birch. Birch burns very hot and very quick. It's not the greatest of fuel woods, but it grows very quickly. And it's a native, so a lot of wildlife love it. And if I go back down, if you look on the edge of the plantation below us, there is quite a lot of birch planted, although that's the silver birch, or Betula pendula, which isn't the native. That's the one you'll get mostly in Great Britain, and it's not actually native to Ireland. We've got the downy birch here, which isn't quite as silvery in its trunk. However, both of them do make fuel trees, and they grow very quickly, so they act as a nursery tree to other things. So the Scots pine I'll put in here will be fairly central to this patch, and then the others will be planted round. And this area is very, very roughly about 7 metres in diameter, about 20 feet in diameter, I think. And the second half of the video will be what it looks like when I've finished. It's a couple of weeks since I made the first half of this video. And as you can probably see by my long shadow, it's quite late in the evening now. And we're at the end of March. And now, this little patch of ground has a couple of dozen trees in it. I didn't keep tally of what I planted where. I know there are 3 Scots pine. They're quite easy to find. But how many alders and birch, I don't know, I didn't keep tally. Every little plot of sheep's wool, I'll take you over to the nearest one. That's actually a goat willow. Every little plot of sheep's wool is a little tree, a little bare root tree. And in between them, and there's one actually sporting some sheep's wool there to show you where it is, are little half dead looking sticks that are actually bits of fuchsia that I snipped off from a bush that is growing at the side of the bothy that has to come down this year. So I put all its little cuttings in the ground because they will act as nursery bushes. And so that one lonely little damaged goat willow now has about a dozen friends. And I don't know how well the camera will pick this up because I haven't worked out how to zoom yet. But over there, that one is starting to unfurl its leaves already. That's another goat willow. There are a few goat willows here. They were ones we rescued out of the drive where they germinated, and I brought them over here because they can do more good. But even this little birch here, I'm going to try and get close. Ooh. Look, there are little green buds. It's coming, it's growing. That's a bit of fuchsia, and that's got little green leaves coming on it. Actually, this one's an alder, and that's starting to unfurl its leaves already, and that was put in a couple of days ago. So already, this tiny space is coming to life. And over there is my wheelbarrow to give you some idea of how big it is, the area, not the wheelbarrow. I'm sure you know how big a wheelbarrow is. And it does look a little bit, if you were to look at it from above, like a peace symbol. Because there's this path running up here, and there's another path over there that runs across. And there was a path running through the middle, but I've sort of planted that a bit close, so that may heal up now. But it's very sort of a peace symbol, which rather appeals to me. And I've left the pathways reasonably clear, apart from the middle one, so that we can still access the rest of the area. And people will comment on this video. I've watched bits of this back already, and I think you're all going to comment that I'm holding the camera wonky. I'm very not, I can assure you. Look at the big trees in the distance. I'm not holding the camera wonky. This is how much my land slopes. There isn't a flat bit on our plot. It's like a dome. I'm going to just pan round, because over there you can see Yggdrasil. I don't know if I can get my finger into shot. That is Yggdrasil. As you know, if you've listened to me on these videos before, it's almost exactly in the centre of our plot. And it's also one of the highest points. It's not the highest point actually, the highest point is over in the Arboretum. But you can see how much our land slopes and falls away. The whole area does, you can see that the neighbouring land does similar. And it's wonderful because it means you see fantastic vistas. But this vista will now be full of trees, I hope. And I might pop back in a couple of weeks' time when they've all leafed up. But by then the rushes might have grown up and hidden them. We'll see. For now, this is the alien landing site. And if the aliens come back, they better hover, because it's full of trees.